Bills fans, what is up? Here we are. Rookie minicamp has come and gone. Now we await to see. It's probably tomorrow if any of these guys get signed. 64 guys, 31 rookie tryout players, the 8 drafted players, 12 undrafted free agents, and 13 first-year players comprise that 64. And we'll see if any of the 31 made it. Maybe they usher out a couple of guys, swap out a few guys on the the Bills had about 78, and that was sans any move that they would make with Eric Wood. That is still to be determined. But before I get to that, I'm just going to put a little bow on the big news that came out of One Bills Drive, or shall I say Pagula Sports and Entertainment, which was the ouster of the tumultuous figure in Bills history, really, Russ Brandon, a guy that was a lightning rod for Bills fans, myself included, for so long, is no longer the face of failure, the face of the Toronto series, the shuck and jive artist, the slick, fast walking, slick talking, just everything about the guy was the thing that we, as most Bills fans, are hard-working, grassroots, not the type of highfalutin, nose in the air types, really, and he represented that for so many of us. I think he's the asshole suit, the crooked politician, he embodied so much of that type of just that repugnant figure for us, that he was just somebody that we could have never conceivably found ourselves being endeared to in any way, shape, or form. And the whole backstory of his firing, well, he resigned, but pretty much, given the tenor of the Pagula's message to the fans about him being gone, no thank you for the assert, that's pretty standard. None of that was pretty telling in that, he potentially could have left him with the mess. But then earlier this week, the NFL said that the Pagulas were totally within their rights. Everything was done accordingly, and that there was no need for them to look into it any further. But the whole inappropriate dealings with women at the workplace, and then the Pagula's counsel, their lawyers, in layman's terms, found other reasons, workplace, job-related things that would have resulted in his dismissal from Pagula Sports Entertainment. And it just, does it shock you? Does it really shock any of us that guy would be up to shady shit or something that he shouldn't be, or trying to wheel his hand in power? And it probably empowered him more when the Pagulas seemed to take him into the fold as one of their own. And it was one of the things, even my friend Brian just couldn't stand the thought of him there, and irregardless of who was around, even with this last year and a half of McDermott, he still felt Russ, even just Russ lurking in the background, was a bad thing. And now that does not have to be a worry to anyone anymore. And it's the end of an era, the Ralph Wilson era. He was the last bastion. All the other guys like Birchtold and Carpenter have been, put to pasture in one way, shape, or form. They could have their fancy little title, but they're not in their capacity anymore. Overdorf has been shackled and gagged and told to do his job, or he'll be one of those who's done in the same vein. So it's a whole new One Bills Drive, and this is the One Bills Drive, irregardless of how it turns out. The thing formerly known as the Drought is no more. So again, a new time. And now let's talk about the new. on to rookie minicamp, and we got to see our first sights of Josh Allen, Tremaine Edmonds, and Jim Kelly at rookie minicamp, and it was a good sight to see Jim out there, him talking to our young quarterback, probably imparting words of wisdom, words of like, look, Allen alluded to that Jim shared some things with him that he's going to keep to himself or between them, most likely of, you got to have thick skin as an NFL quarterback of the Bills. It's a fishbowl environment within Buffalo. From that, it's very small. So the Bills football team is a big topic, a big focal point for a lot of people there. So you're going to hear a lot of crap. He heard a lot of crap. So he's going to have thick skin. He's going to have to ignore all the rumblings, all the noise, and keep his eye on the prize and on the ball and just play his game and get better and worry about that as opposed to what people are chirping. And now more so than ever. Tremaine Edmonds, from all accounts, looks like the physical freak that he is. Seeing him in Bills gear, imagining him in the middle of that defense, just the length and the athleticism is a really exciting sight, a really exciting thought as well. We got to see also Harrison Phillips, just looks like a blue-collar, lunch pail type of McDermott guy, just a guy you can throw in there for 30, 45 plays, spell star, spell Kyle, and he's just going to give 110% each of those plays. And that's so key to keeping Kyle fresh, keeping the bodies off the linebackers, letting everybody play free. So that's a really encouraging thing to see these guys finally getting integrated. And that's McDermott speaked on. The rookie minicamp was more about them just integrating them into the program, how they do things from day to day, how their workplace essentially, which this is your workplace. This is where you're going to work for hopefully a long time. And this is your day to day. This is where this is. This is where that is. This is where you find this. If you need this, you can go here and get this. Here's the mess hall. Here's locker room, weight room. Here's this guy. Here's a nutritionist. All those different types of things. So these guys can just focus on being the best football players they can for the Bills, as opposed to worrying about where am I gonna. Because I know they have people that help set them up with housing and help them find homes and help their families get acclimated and different things like that. So they're just trying to alleviate all those other outward distractions and any anxieties that those would impart, so they can just focus on just being good football players for the Bills. And that's pretty much what McDermott was getting around to saying, but I was much more long-winded about it. But it wasn't so much about football, just seeing the guys run around out there, get loose, and probably more classroom stuff that we don't see. Spoon feeding scheme. He even said that they didn't want to throw a lot at them. They just want to give them, a little at a time, see what they handle, take it out to the field, see how they do, and then gradually that'll speed up. I'm going to throw something into the comment box. It was a cool little thing Kirk Cousins does through his website, and it was done on the 8th of April. And he had a little segment with Josh Allen, 3 parts. I'll put all 3 parts in there. It was very, very good. And I know it's filmed and stuff, but you really get to hear Josh talk football, and he's very, from all accounts, like I'm sure we've all heard, like I heard, that he was very, very good on the grease board. He was very, very astute and knowledgeable at all those types of things. And him and Kirk, get into talking about what was this, and the kid doesn't seem football stupid, that's for sure. He doesn't seem that. So again, having come from, like I said before, a pro-style system, full field read, there are pros there. There are pros, and there are cons, of course, but there are cons with everybody. Regardless, he's a rookie quarterback. He's going to have his bumps, and I'm fully willing to get a mouthful of them because I want to see eventually that those bumps become less and less frequent, and they become a lot more enjoyment for us. They come for less pains and more promise and more hope and more enjoyment. But that's it. It was more so just them getting comfortable, getting acclimated. You know, Jim Kelly coming out there, he, you know, seeing him in that kind of shape was even tough for me, because, you know, just remember Jim Kelly is this guy you always looked going out at Vin, you know, Rich Stadium, the turf at Rich Stadium, and being the Bills quarterback, and now seeing him, you know, he was with a cane. This is like his 4th or 5th surgery. He was probably still having trouble talking, probably lost a bunch of weight from the surgery and the chemo and the liquid diet, and it just you just really hope that this is the last time he has to go through this, and the guy can finally just fully recover, and because it's really taken a toll on him, you know, physically, and I'm sure just sans all the stuff he went through on the football field, when quarterbacks can just get brutalized, and he was, I think, probably the second to last generation of quarterbacks that had to go through that. And, you know, I know cancer could happen to anybody, but, you know, he had neck surgery, he had multiple knee injuries. I mean, even at Miami, his shoulder was completely separated in his senior season, so was playing most of his career with a shoulder that was pretty compromised. I mean, in the same vein as Drew Brees, and he still went out and had a Hall of Fame career. So hopefully, again, he's you know, he's on the up and up. But just to wrap this up, McDermott wasn't in the talking mood about handing out starting spots. You know, unlike you hear they want competition, they want to compete. But they said that they, you know, like you said, no, like I posted on Twitter, no more day one starters off the bus. We earn things here. Earn the right. That's the new, you know, earning the rights and earning things. And you see that different type of messaging and signage around the building. Earn the right, 1/11th. Last year it was playoff caliber, and I see those things when I see like people, you know, Bills players post things on Instagram and stuff. I see when they go in the locker room it says 1/11th on the door, and then I see like when you go in it says earn the right, and that's how, so that the messaging is different this year, and the team is different, and hopefully the results are even better. So, Bills fans, hope you had a great weekend. I know it was Mother's Day today. I don't think, well, if they do, any women that watch this, happy Mother's Day if you're a mother or an expecting mother. Probably women watch these. It's all guys from what I understand. So you guys have a great start to your week. Enjoy it, and take care. Go Bills. We'll probably get some news about some, you know, any type of more roster moves in terms of whether any of the tryout players, or maybe they don't keep a few of the undrafted free agents. That's always possible too. I believe Josh Allen and Harrison Phillips are the only 2 draft picks that haven't signed their contracts yet, but the way those things are slotted now, that'll get probably wrapped up within the next couple of days. All right, Bills fans, you have a great one. Take care. Enjoy your week, and go Bills as always.